Welcome, it's Ivan from the Tesla Stock Channel here, and today we'll be looking at the top 15 selling Chinese electric vehicles and then seeing how the Tesla Model 3 and the Model Y compare. So let's check it out. So I've ranked the cars by the number of sales they have from January to May of 2019, and in 16th place we have the Weltmeister EX5 SUV. Weltmeister, meaning World Champion in German, is a new Chinese EV brand owned by a company called WM Motors. They have 3 versions of the EX5, but for today's comparison, all the cars that will be covered, we will be using the base models to make our comparisons. When we look at the specs, we can see that the EX5 costs about $27,500 and comes with a range of 186 miles or 300 kilometers. And all prices are without incentives and may not be 100% accurate due to currency fluctuations since the video has been posted. In terms of the Model 3 specs, they come from the Chinese Tesla website, and the base model in China is the Standard Range Plus with a $47,500 US price tag. In 15th place, we have the NIO ES8 all-electric 7-seater mid-sized SUV, which started deliveries in June of 2018. And one of the reasons for its popularities outside of China is that it is listed on the New York Stock Exchange, so it gets a lot of media attention as compared to similar EV manufacturers in China. At a starting price of $66,000 and a 70 kWh battery pack enabling 264 miles or 425 kilometers of range, along with 112 miles or 180 kilometers per hour top speed, the NIO ES8 has the highest specs of any Chinese EV that is in the top 15 in sales. In 14th place, we have yet another SUV, which is the XPeng G3, manufactured by Haima Automobile for Xiaoping Motors. And from what I can see, this is one of the better looking designs, with interesting new features, with a panoramic windshield and personalized roof artwork. Looking at the specs, we can see that it has a price tag of about $33,000, along with 219 miles or 351 kilometers of range and 106 miles or 170 kilometers per hour top speed. So I think this car has a nice blend of design, speed and range, and I think the XPeng has the most potential to challenge Tesla going forward. The Tesla Model 3 is in 13th place in sales ranking, which is really impressive considering the current cost being so high with all the import tariffs and lack of incentives, so I can't wait to cover the Chinese market when the Model 3 is produced in China and to see how the Model 3 climbs up through the field in 2020. 12th place, we have the Chang'an Iwaro, which was unveiled back in March of 2015 and is Chang'an's first production electric vehicle. Chang'an is known as the no-frills Chinese car maker, and it's interesting to note that they entered into a cooperation with Baidu in 2017 to develop autonomous technology, selling for around $30,000 with a range of 191 miles or 305 kilometers and a top speed of 88 miles or 140 kilometers per hour. Next up, we have 2 small sedans with a max speed of about 60 miles or 100 kilometers per hour. Low-cost cars, which are the JMC E200 and the SAIC Bjorn E series, designed primarily for city driving. I'm not going to cover the super small sedans in too much detail, but I'll still mention them briefly, as they are in the top 15 of EV cars sold in China. In 10th place, we have Great Wall Aura's IQ5 SUV, which was released in August of 2018. Aura stands for Open, Reliable and Alternative, and is aimed at the younger audiences living in the major cities throughout China. The price of the Aura IQ5 is about $27,500 with 251 miles or 410 kilometers of range, along with a top speed of 94 miles or 150 kilometers per hour. Next up, we have JAC Motors, the Chinese state-owned automobile and commercial vehicle manufacturer that manufactures sedans, SUVs, vans and trucks, and produces the 8th place E-Series, which comes equipped with a 7-inch touchscreen and a Baidu CareLife app that features locate your ride on a parking lot and engine pre-warm-up on cold days. According to their website, it also features a well done in climbing a slope. The IEV E-Series costs around $31,000 with a 194 mile or 310 kilometer range and a top speed of 80 miles or 130 kilometers per hour. In 7th and 6th place, we have two more super small sedans that are not really competing with the Model 3, but again, we'll mention the Great Wall R1 EV and the Chery EQ, as the small sedans segment makes up about 1/3 of the Chinese EV market. Moving on to the top 5. And in 5th place we have the Rowe RX5, which is a compact crossover SUV that is manufactured by the Chinese manufacturer Rowe of SAIC Motors, which went into production in 2016. I recently read that the e-commerce giant Alibaba and SAIC Motor have worked together in producing this car and equipping it with the Yun OS operating system, which is actually the 3rd biggest operating system in the world, in the hope of creating a smart car with autonomous driving. And it comes in at $33,000, 187 miles or 301 kilometers of range, and a top speed of 91 miles or 145 kilometers per hour. In 4th place we have the Geely M Grand, which was designed by Peter Horbury, a British car designer who is Vice President of Design at Volvo. Some reports say it looks like a Toyota Camry, but you be the judge of that. When looking at the specs, we can see that the price is starting at around $33,000 and comes with 250 miles or 400 kilometers of range and a top speed of 88 miles or 140 kilometers per hour. In 3rd place, we can see the BYD E5 electric sedan, which is really popular with taxi drivers. The cost of the BYD E5 is $34,500 and has 253 miles or 405 kilometers of range and a top speed of only 80 miles or 130 kilometers per hour. In 2nd place, we have the BAIC EU series, manufactured by BAIC Motor Corporation based in Beijing, which is the best-selling sedan in 2019. Price-wise, the cost of the car is about $32,500 with a 260 mile or 416 kilometers of range and a top speed of 97 miles or 155 kilometers per hour. Which leads us to the BYD Yuan crossover SUV, which currently holds top spot in sales for 2019 and is likely to keep top spot with an average of 7,300 sales per month and thousands of back orders showing strong demand. BYD is a powerhouse in China with 2 of the 3 top-selling cars. It features a competitive price of $25,000, a range of 225 miles or 410 kilometers, and a top speed of 88 miles or 140 kilometers per hour. So how does the Model 3 compare to the mid-size sedans? Well, let's have a look. In terms of specs, the Model 3 easily wins out in range, speed and design, and also has the advantage of being a foreign luxury car that is quite distinguishable from the China brands. The only question is, how much would the $47,500 price tag affect sales? Because once Tesla reaches production scale, coupled with lower working wages for the Shanghai Gigafactory, Tesla should be able to sell the Model 3 quite profitably below the $40,000 mark. And if they do that, the demand would be quite extraordinary. And we know that from what's happened in the US, as the most common cars traded in for the Model 3 were the BMW 3 Series, the Nissan Leaf, Honda Accord, Toyota Prius and the Honda Civic, which tells you people are looking to trade up to the Model 3. And I can see the same thing happening in China. In our final section, and even though it's still early days, let's look at how the Model Y matches up against the Chinese SUVs. And we can see that the Model Y has the edge in the specs. So it'll be interesting to see which version of the Model Y will be available for China. But in this video, I've just used the standard Model Y as was released by Tesla during the time of unveiling. I can see the Model Y giving the BYD Yuan a run for its money, and easily outselling the iQ5 and the Rowe IE5. The Weltmeister EX5 doesn't seem like it'll be much of a competitor to the Model Y, but it'll be interesting to see how it does compare to the NIO ESA and the XPeng G3, which both look pretty impressive to me, as both cars have impressive specs and features. So in summary, we can see the size of the small, mid-size and SUV markets in China, and we can see how Tesla will be targeting 2/3 of the Chinese EV market with the Model 3 and Model Y. So stay tuned, as we'll be monitoring sales numbers on a monthly basis and keep you informed as how all of this will play out in the coming months and years as the Chinese Gigafactory opens up. So that's all for today, and if you like our content and would like to support the channel on Patreon, it would make a huge difference in helping us get more content and more videos out to you more often. So see you guys soon.